It's a new era for a treasured tradition. The Boston Pops 4th of July concert, complete with fireworks, will now be produced by the Pops. For 43 years, hundreds of thousands of revelers, I'm sure including you, have flocked to the Esplanade for the show. Millions more around the country have watched it on TV. Executive producer David Mugar, who created the concept and is now retiring, has dug into his own pockets to keep the concert afloat. So now, who will fill that role? Joining me is the guy who I assume will have to set off the fireworks himself next year. That would be the conductor of the Boston Pops.
As long as you're not
Keith
asking me
Lockhart.
to fund the concert, we're fine.
Exactly. Keith, congratulations, yes?
Yes.
What does this mean practically?
Well, I think it means, as I've been telling people, I think it's the continuation. It is the proper continuation of a great tradition, but also a chance to start a really exciting new chapter in its history. Practically, it's a big responsibility for us. I mean, we're obviously used to live performance, but this is a huge show by anybody's standards. There are a lot of moving parts that we at the Pops have never had to deal with, just the logistics, the infrastructure of a concert of that size.
So do you reinvent? I know you've been very careful, and I assume it's both out of respect for Dave Mugar, but you must be saying to yourself, yes, I love it as it is, but I don't know, I can let my freak flag fly or something. I mean, you really have an opportunity to create it in your own image, not just what's on the stage, but the whole deal, no?
Well, there's some of that. There are always a lot of people at the table. I mean, if we are in, local and national media, which we certainly hope we are, then those people have a say at the table as well. That having been said, David and Arthur Fiedler invented the concert 43 years ago. David stepped down. The logical place for the concert to go is the Pops, and we at the Pops believe, as I believe most of the people who enjoy that concert every year, is that the Pops is and remains the centerpiece of this celebration, and this will give us a chance to make sure that that remains the case going forward.
I know it's obvious you're not going to tell me, but you have said to yourself, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Have you not done that kind of thing?
Of course. Don't we all,
Okay.
At one point or another? That having been said, we're going to come up with a concert that serves this incredible institution that's been created well, and serves the millions of people who are affected by it every year.
That's very exciting. So that's the wonderful news. The not so wonderful news, you got to raise $3 million.
There's always that.
There's always that. Bob DeSalvio, who runs the Wynn Resort effort in Everett, was on the radio with us the other day, and I asked him about whether or not they were potential funders of this. Here's what DeSalvio had to say.
Now maybe we can take a step back and I'll talk to the folks in Vegas to see whether there's any possibility there. But yes, they have approached us, but no, we haven't really moved this thing forward yet, but we will give it a good, thoughtful review.
That's great news. They're a natural. I mean, there's so many. GE, to me, I don't know anything about this, but as a lay person, I mean, do you have a sense of who the potential players are for this signature event?
We have conversations out with several companies. Obviously, I can't tell you who they are.
Can you say them backwards, or can
yes,
you not?
Well, I can give you clues like I always do, some sort of an involved pun. No, obviously there's sensitivities there, and nobody wants this to come out until it's signed, sealed, and delivered. But the talks have been very optimistic. Certainly, Steve Wynn has expressed personal interest in supporting this concert, and I don't know where they are currently in that, but now that things are moving forward there, I'm sure things are easier for them.
Does that make you nervous, though? I mean, Mugar is a pretty good salesperson. If something, as you say, he created with the great Arthur Fiedler, he couldn't get a corporate sponsor last year. I mean, does it worry you or no?
Well, it's fresh blood, it's fresh eyes on the situation. We have never sat at that table. The concert has always been B4's Productions to put on, and we are still working with their executive production staff, actually, with Rich McDonald and Pam Picard. But that having been said, we do have our own connections into this world, and what I know personally is that this is an incredibly important event for many, many people, including some very, very prominent people with great resource in this town.
And will that include people like who are in your press release, Charlie Baker, and obviously Marty Walsh? I mean, it seems
it's a Commonwealth event, it's a city event, it's a national event.
But one of the things that drives me nuts, in a city where the arts are so spectacular, I mean, you being at the top of the heap, corporate money, foundation money for the arts, as you know, compared to other comparable cities, is like down here. What's that about?
I think, and certainly as it pertains to the Boston Symphony and the Boston Pops, which is the only part I have a great knowledge of, in a lot of ways we're a victim of our own success historically. A lot of places have jumped into the arts funding breach because they've needed to. and the BSO and the Boston Pops have been so historically successful. Now, in the current climate, every arts organization, even the very biggest and the very best and the most fiscally prudent, need help, need underwriting support to continue to give this resource to a community.
And you can say 100% this is happening on July 4th. Produced by the pot. This is regardless money. This is happening.
I
yes?
can say that this is happening.
Even if you have to fund it yourself.
Even
is
if
that correct?
yes, exactly.
I knew you
which
were
is
gonna
going to
say.
involve some pretty steep loans.
Okay, now we only have a minute left. The fall is well, it is upon us. It's already fall. What's the season look like for you?
It is. Well, personally, I'm heading off in this month to do some work in Vienna, which is always a fun place to be in October, and then a week in London with my other orchestra over there, the BBC Concert Orchestra, including a Disney premiere of all of their Broadway musicals done at Royal Albert Hall for a sold-out crowd. And but the big thing is the Holiday Pops, which starts on November 30th, carries through to Christmas Eve. After that, we're doing Back to the Future, the film with live orchestra on the New Year's weekend, as well as a New Year's Eve dance concert. So right there, before we know it, it's going to be post-Thanksgiving, and I'm going to be looking down the barrel of that.
It's terrific. I think I speak for everybody watching. The fact that this is salvaged and that you guys are going to be in charge is just spectacular.
I'm really optimistic. I think we're going to make it work.
Keith Lockhart, it's a pleasure.
Thanks, Jim. Always a pleasure.